Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, so we're in Parshas Vaeira this coming Shabbos, right, Francis? She always corrects me. It's okay. Okay, so I think we all are waiting for the Geula, right? We want it very, very much. We want Mashiach to come, and we have to know that the root of all the Geulos of Klal Yisrael, that means from Golos Bavel, Parasamoda, Yavan, Rome, ours, all has their root in Yitzias Mitzrayim. In other words, Yitzias Mitzrayim was the prototype of the Klal Yisrael being in Golis and Klal Yisrael emerging, which is Geula. We say those who daven Nusach Svard, Shabbos Musaf, they say, "Who yashmienu shenis." He will once again let us hear Leinei Kol Chai, for in the presence of all who live. Ein goalti eschem acharis kereshes. Behold, I will redeem you in the end, which is our state, like it was in the beginning. What was in the beginning? It was Gulas Mitzrayim. So our whole relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu stems from Yitzias Mitzrayim. The third parsha in Kriya Shema, at the end, we say, Ani Hashem Elokechem asher hotzeisi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim liyos lochem le'elokim. Asher hotzeisi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim. We say it, but we don't focus on what that means. What does it mean? He took us out. Now I know Pesach, matzah, moror, the deser makis. Yeah, fine. But okay, yeah, that happened a long time ago, and now it's just like that. So it will be now. What? Just like what? Exactly. So we have to go right back to the beginning, because everything has its root, its makor in the narrative of the Brias HaOlam. Everything was set up there. The Gra even says that everything is in the first word of Bereshis. So it's the second pasuk says, "V'ha'aretz ha'yisa tohu v'avohu v'choshech al pnei tahom." The world, the world. Ha'aretz here doesn't mean just the dirt. It means the world. Ha'yisa tohu. It was tohu. What is tohu? Tohu. We'll get into it more deeply soon. But tohu means amorphous, no shape, no structure. It was tohu. It was vohu, also confusion, choshech, darkness, al pnei tahom, on the face or on the surface of the deep. That's what the pasuk says. So Chazal teach us that these four terms, tohu, vohu, choshech, tahom, they're the four golos in the Klal Yisrael I'm going to have. The four golos are tohu is Bavel, vohu is Parasamodai, choshech, which obviously is very well connected to Yavan, to Greece, who brought darkness to the world with the translation of the Torah and all of their gzeiros to somehow distract us from our avodas Hashem and not allow us, not because there was a law, but they denied the existence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's darkness. V'choshech al pnei tahom. Now, choshech al pnei tahom. The tahom is unique, and that's the one we're in. And we're in a unique golus because Bavel we knew was lasting 70 years. Parasamodai, that whole process, again, for 70 years. Part of that 70-year structure. We knew when the end was coming. We just didn't know exactly how to figure out the 70 years. Yavan was 52 years. 52 years. Tahom, the depth knows no end. You don't know where it ends. And that's us. We've been in this Golos for a very long time. It's Golos Rome, Golos Romi. It's this terrible state that we are in. When I say terrible state, what do I mean? Yeah, Baruch Hashem, we're comfortable. We even have air conditioning. It's good. It's good. And heat when we need it. It's good. We have food. We have shelter. Yeah, but the ruchnius is missing. There's so much ruchnius missing that we don't even perceive the lack of the ruchnius. Choshech al pnei tahom. So that's the four different golusim. So the source of our Torah is from the tahom. But if you pay attention to the word tahom, the root of tahom is tohu. Tahom. Tohu. With a mem added onto it. And the mem means you're locked up, by the way. If you know the format of the letter final mem, it's like you're in prison. You're locked up. Meaning it's going to be a long, long lockup. Tahom. The home is in the state of Golus. In all of Bereshis, in all of the whole process of creation, there is only one time that it says Lo Tov. Lo Tov. Everything was Tov. But one time it says Lo Tov. Lo Tov Heyos Adam Levado. Because that's not the way the world was supposed to be functioned. It's for man to function on his own. He was supposed to be able to populate the world. And the Navi Yeshaya brings it very beautifully, and he says, Lo tohu bra. He didn't create the world for tohu, so without being married and having children, that's tohu. Ela l'sheves yitzara. The whole purpose was for populating the world, for there to be people to interact with. That was the whole purpose of creation. So lo tohu, not for the purpose of tohu, for nothing. So we see that the opposite of tohu is that there should be a population in the world, and the world should function, and the world should have interaction with people. And our job is to populate the world. There's a mitzvah, I don't know if you're familiar with the Egla Arufa. I want for a moment just deviate a little bit. The Egla Arufa. Egla Arufa is you find a dead body and you don't know exactly where it comes from, whether it comes from one city or the other city. You have to measure which city, the closest city, and the chachamim of that city have to go, and they have to take an egla, a calf, and they kill the calf, and it has to be dafka in a nachal, which we're familiar with here in Beit Shemesh, nachalim. It had to be in a nachal that was desolate and does not produce any fruit. That's how it has to be. Why? Because whoever took that life stopped this person from having fruit. Children. Can't have any more children. He's dead. So you'll say to me, yeah, but what about a fellow? This Mara asked this question. That's very interesting. It has to be there. That's the way you have to kill. Do it. And you take an egla who hasn't yet had the opportunity to have another calf yet. He's still young. And you kill him. And it has to be a non-productive type of a process. No. So what about somebody who did have children? Let's say this guy had children. So, what are you doing? Answer is, you've stopped him from producing. What does that mean to produce? So, yes, production is children, but there's something else. And those are mitzvahs. Every mitzvah that we do is eternity. We're providing and we're producing more eternity. How can you say more eternity? Eternity is eternity. There's no more eternity. Yes, more beings that are connected to eternity. So again, lo tohu bra, tohu is the lack of mitzvah, the lack of productivity, the lack of the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vayaru Elokim ki tov. What? Ha'or ki tov. He created light, That's good. Because the light is not, and by the way, that light was not the light of the sun, not the light of the moon, not the light of the stars, not any other, not even from the bulbs. It's there was no light, but it says he created light. What light is he talking about? He's talking about the enlightenment, the Havana, the understanding, to be aware of reality. That's the true light. Light means in other words, all this tohu, oretz ha'isa choshech al pnei tahom. The first thing after the choshech al pnei tahom, first thing he says is, Yom Elokim Yehior. Where? Yehior means he gave it meaning, purpose, direction. That's the whole point in creation. Good. So Golus represent the low tov of tohu, meaning because all the Golusim, tohu, vo, choshech, netahom, Bavel, Bar Samodai, Yavan, Rome, all of those stem from the tahom, from the first word tahom. Va'oretz ha'isa, tohu, vavohu, tohu. So we're spending a lot of time on the word tohu. But we have to understand what that means. It means the absence of any form, the absence of any direction, amorphous. It has no purpose. The tohu represents purpose. So much so that Yetzias Mitzrayim was the first time that we came out of the tohu. When we were in Mitzrayim, that was called tohu. We were in this state. And in the environment, I should say, even more than just the state, because we weren't so much into that state. But the environment was so anti, doesn't make any sense even. It was anti the whole process of meaning and purpose. It was all functioning me, my pleasure, my gratification. I am this. For that, you don't need the world. Just give me what I need and I'm very happy, right? I don't need anything else. I'm happy? No. So it's interesting. The Chazal say that the emergence out of Mitzrayim were the 10 makkos. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it was 10 makkos were in reverse order of the creation. First, the first statement in creation was Bereshis, right? The last makkah was Makkos Bechoros. The second part of creation was Yehior. The makkah before Makkos Bechoros was Choshech. And it goes back, each one corresponding to the other. In other words, we're coming out of Mitzrayim. So we're coming back out to the ultimate goal of the one. That's who created this all. And what we're saying is this was the whole essence of what it means to be in Mitzrayim. To be in Mitzrayim meant that there was an absence of godliness. There was an absence, not only godliness, they denied the whole concept even that there's something outside of the physical world. So we have to know that the essence of Mitzrayim was this. Paro says, this is a pasuk in Yechezkel. Paro says, Li Yoiri. Now, you know, the Nile, the river, was their god, right? That was where they got their sustenance from, everything. I mean, they were totally dependent on this river, the Nile. Li Yoiri. It's mine. Va'ani asisini. And I made myself. What does that mean, I made myself? You know, that's not fitting for Paro to say such a stupidity. For an idiot to say, I made myself out, he doesn't know he has a navel. What's going on? I made myself. What does that mean? It means that I'm here. My existence had to be. And it's all about me. When it's all about me, and nothing else. There's no power outside of me. And Paro was a pretty powerful fellow, and he wasn't stupid. All he was doing was denying that there was Mi Hashem Asher Eshma Bekola. Who is this God? I have to listen to him. So beautiful. You know, Daniel, the Navi Daniel, when he saw the future, he saw that there were going to be Klaisel were going to be in Golis. And he described it with his imagery was of a person. The head, two arms, a body, and two legs. That's what he saw. The head was Bavel. Bavel. That was Rosha Dadava. That was the head of the whole negativity. Then comes the two arms, Parasumodai. Those were the two arms. The body was Yavan, was Greece. And the two legs was Esav and Yishmael. And Esav first, that Rome, and then comes Yishmael, which we are suffering from this now. And we feel it on our backs. We know it. We're connected to it. So what is interesting here is where's Mitzrayim? Where did Mitzrayim come in all this? That's the core. Say Chazal, Mitzrayim was the crown on top of the head of the Bavel, because that's where it called. The crown represents the epitome, the top, more than the head. You got the head, the first, the beginning, the start, Rosh, so on. But then you got the crown. The crown, the Torah, the Keter, if you wish. That crown that he saw was Mitzrayim. In other words, Mitzrayim represented all the negativity that we have in Bavel, and Parsamodai, and Yavan, and Rome, and Yishmael. It all was there in Mitzrayim. Can we imagine that kind of environment? We can't imagine such an environment. Well, maybe we can. What brings us out from that? And once we see what is the process of emerging from it, the Geula process, then we can understand what they were being redeemed from. Let's start this way. When Hashem created mankind, it says, Vayitzer Hashem Elokim es Adam, and Hashem created and formatted the human being, Adam. The word Vayitzer was spelled with two yuds. You don't need two yuds for the word Vayitzer. It's enough one. You look in Chumash, it has two yuds. Why does it have two yuds, say Chazal? The two yudim represented Olam Hazer and Olam Haba. Man was created to function with a recognition and the knowledge of our reality. Yeah, you don't want to live in reality, then you know where you go, into that special house where a lot of people think they're Napoleon and who knows what. You have to be part of reality. That's one, the physical reality of our world, but it's two yuds. And that physical reality of our world was here for the purpose of the recognition, number one, and the attainment, number two, of Olam Haba. Olam Haba, by the way, is not a place. So get that out of your heads. You're not going to a place. There was no place called Olam Haba. You know where Olam Haba is? First of all, it doesn't exist. It's okay if I say it? No. Because that's our... I say it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist until you make it. It's not a place that's there and waiting for us. We create, each and every one of us, create our own Olam Haba. And what does that mean? That means our own connection to the world of the reality of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's unlimited by the laws of nature. The world is limited by the laws of nature. You know, if you take a long walk off the Empire State Building, the concrete's going to come up and meet you very quickly. But I don't believe in gravity. What do you mean you don't believe in gravity? If you don't believe in gravity, you're going to be smashed. It's the same way. The reality of our world is such that the physicality limits us and we function according to certain rules. But there's another reality, a reality that is limitless, a reality that has no bounds, a reality that isn't functioning by the laws of nature. The word nature bothers me very much. Oh, lady nature, mother nature. I don't know what they're picking on the ladies for. How come you're not objecting to the fact? What about daddy nature? No, mommy nature. Well, that's natural. Let me tell you something. Nature in Lashon HaKodesh is not, the word for nature in Lashon HaKodesh is Teva. You will not find that in Tanakh. Not in all of Tanakh, you won't find the word Teva. It's a word that was constructed by Chazal. Now, the shorish of the word tet, beis ayin, tava, when somebody, Rahman al-Itzlan, drowns, you say nitba, he was drowned. So what does that mean? What's that connected to nature for? Because when someone drowns, he goes into the water and is covered over by the water, and that's it. You can't see him anymore. He's gone. That's teva, tavua. It also means embossed. Litboat, matbeya, right? You emboss, without an image and without an engraving, the coin is worthless. There has to be something that identifies it as a coin of whatever, right? So you have to emboss it within the coin. It's something that you push into. Something is pushed into the laws of nature that we cannot see, that's covered over. And what's that? That's the Rabbanu Shalom. The Rabbanu Shalom is nature. And I don't know why they call it mother again. It's the Rabbanu Shalom. Nature is defined and directed completely and totally by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All the laws of nature he set up. And therefore he can abrogate them. So in the state of unlimitless eternity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's a recognition that there is nothing will in any way related to the laws of nature. And we have to know that Hashem, Elohim, by the way, the gematria of Elohim and the gematria of HaTeva is the same, 86. Why? Because that's what Teva is. Teva is embossed and totally immersed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore he can abrogate it. I didn't say that he manipulated the laws of nature. In Hebrew, it's called Mishaded HaTeva. Mishaded HaTeva means he got around the nature, right? He didn't change nature. He just used nature in a different way. I'll give you a point what I mean. Avram Avinu was thrown into the fire, into an oven, into fire, and he wasn't burned. Now, is that abrogating the laws of nature, or is it manipulating the laws of nature? Well, in reality, it's only the manipulation of laws of nature. Why? Because there are things that fire doesn't burn. So that's also part of nature. If it's something that is possible within nature, right, that doesn't burn, California has a problem with that, but if it doesn't burn, then it's part of the nature of the world. There are certain things that don't burn, asbestos. Okay, so Avram Avinu was covered in asbestos. He used the laws of nature to get to a certain end. The opposite of that was Yetzias Mitzrayim. There, all the laws of nature were abrogated. One thing is obvious. In the laws of nature, one thing can only be what it is. It can't be something else. In other words, water is water. Blood is blood. It's not blood and water at the same time. So everybody thinks, oh, well, you know what happened when the Egyptian drank the water, it turned to blood. No, it was blood. It was blood for the Egyptian and it was water for the Jew. And if they wanted water, the Egyptians, they had to buy it from a Jew. If they bought it from a Jew, they could drink it. What does that mean? That's the same thing. It's the same water, but it wasn't water for him. For him, it was blood until he paid for it. He paid for it. He was taking Jewish water. He wasn't taking water. Jewish water is different. Do you hear that? What he was saying is that because Jewish water comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it could be blood, it could be water, it could be fire, and fire and water can't mix. But Barad had water and fire mixed into it. Now, how's that possible? That means it's an abrogation of the laws of nature. Now, we all know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many names. Many names. Many of them were familiar. Shakai, Tzvakai, Elokim, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Adnus, Aleph Daled Nun Yud, and so on. He has names. Each name represents a methodology by which he functions in the world. One name is the Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the source from all the other names. Everything comes, each one represents a hanhaga. That way he's running the world. Okay, Hashem is running with Rachamim, he's running the world with Din, he's running the world with Shakai, for example, Shin Daled Yud. What does that mean? So Chazal tell us it's an acronym. The Shem Shakai is an acronym. Sha'omar Loi Lamoy Dai. Shakai, yeah, Shin Daled Yud, yeah, Sha'omar Loi Lamoy Dai. He said enough. In other words, trees have a limit. Even though they're beautiful and they grow very high, and sometimes you want it to grow high, so it blocks the neighbors from taking a look at what's doing in your backyard. But it grows and grows. What if it would go all the way up and up and up? But no, everything has a limit. There isn't anything in this world that doesn't have. That's from the Shem Shakai. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. The Yud Kei Vav Kei is the essence of Hashem. In fact, that's a name we don't ever pronounce. We don't pronounce it. The Gemara says like this: Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Right? That's what we say all the time, right? He's one. Okay. Then we say, Bayom Hahu, Yi Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. Wait a minute. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Bayom Hahu. On that day he's referring when Mashiach comes. Bayom Hahu, Yi Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. What does that mean? Now he's not Echad. We know he's Echad, right? Wrong. We don't know he's Echad. We have a conception, but we don't experience it. We don't see it, do we? And that's what the Gemara says. Now we have two brachas. A tragedy, Rachmana Litzlan, happens, we say Baruch Dainu Emes. When a simcha and a good thing happens, what do we say? Hatov ha'ametiv. What happens if I know as Hashem Echad? Right? Hashem is Echad. So the Tov, Meitiv, and Dayan Emes, it's all one. So why can't I make a bracha of Hatov HaMeitiv on a tragedy? Because I know it's really good. I know it's good because there is no bad that comes from him. So if I know it's good, why can't I? I'm a big frummy, You know how I love that word. But, you're frum. And therefore, it's good. It's good. It hurts. But it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Can I say Hatov HaMeitiv? Absolutely not. Why not? Because you're not experiencing it. You don't see it. And if you can't see it, and you can't perceive it, and you can't experience it, you dare not say it. Okay? So now we have two brachas. Hatov HaMeitiv and Dayan Emes. Then we can say, everything will be a Hatov HaMeitiv. Everything. Well, that's great. What's the difference? Now here too, if everything is good, so then of course I'd only make Hatov HaMeitiv because it's all good. What's the difference? The difference is that when Mashiach comes, I'll look at all the bad things that happened in this world, all the suffering, all the pain, all the disappointment, all of it. And when Mashiach comes, I'll see how good it really was. So that's why my Rebbe, Rafut Nezachar Tzadik Livracha, said, we say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. We close our eyes. Right? Why? Oh, to concentrate. On what? No, it's not to concentrate so much. It's to close our eyes because we can't see the Hashem Echad. We can't see it. It's not in our reality, the Hashem Echad. It simply isn't. I know it, but I don't experience it. And if I don't experience it, I can't say it. Therefore, I close my eyes. I say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Do you hear? The Yud K, Vav K represents where everything, you know, I may have told you this before, the Barditchever Rebbe, the big Ohev Yisrael, he loved Jews. He just loved the Jewish people. And during his lifetime, there were terrible, he was in Ukraine, terrible pogroms, terrible, horrible, painful pogroms. And he stopped them. He stopped the whole process of pogroming. While he was alive there, he is davening, his bakar, whatever it was, however he did it. I don't know exactly how that works. He stopped it. After he died, all the pogroms started again. So one of his chassidim had this terrible question. How's that possible? When the Rebbe was down here with us, he was able to stop it. Now he's next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rebbe, stop it. Tell him to stop it. So the way it goes is that the Barditchever came to this chassid in his dream, and he said to him, Ziskait, my sweet one, you're 100% right. When I was down here and I saw all the terrible pogromim, I thought it was terrible, horrible, it's bad. So I asked Hashem to stop it. But now that I'm up here next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I look down, I see it's not bad. I see, it's all Hashem Echad. It's all beautiful. It's all wonderful. It's the way it's supposed to be, and everything is good is only going to come from it. So you want me to stop the good? That I can't. What I'm trying to get at is that's what was revealed in Mitzrayim. What was revealed in Mitzrayim that was not revealed in our Parsha. It says, Vaeira el Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov b'Shem Pel Shakai. The God of Shakai. Shin Daled Yud. Ushmi Hashem, but the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, they did not experience. That means they only experience God, Kadosh Baruch Hu manipulating nature. They didn't experience Hashem abrogating the laws of nature. And that was Yitzias Mitzrayim. All the makos, the splitting of the sea, every one of those makos were a definition for Klal Yisrael and the world, and the whole world, that there's a Yud Kei Vav Kei in reality. That's the true reality, the true emes. When Paro said, Li Yori Ani Asisini, I made myself, what he was saying is, I'm the power. No one has anything. Who's me, Hashem? Who's the Yud Kei Vav Kei? I'll tell you who the Yud Kei Vav Kei. He's the one that causes everything that took place. And that's the Yitzias Mitzrayim. And that's what we have to understand. That Yud Kei, let me just finish this one point and then I'll move into, no, it's okay, it's okay. You can ask, please. Hold on a second. I just want to get this one more point. That we have to live our lives with that recognition that there is a future. Paro didn't live with a future. There is nothing going on. Whatever is happening right here and now. And I want to be in control of everything that's happening here and now. But we have to know that Vayitzer, man was created with two yuds, Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. And we have to live with the absolute recognition that there is a future. There is a future that is going to be eternal. That's the productivity of humanity. That's the making of the payros. That's the payros. Remember, we started with the Agna Rufa with payros, of productivity, of getting married, having children, to produce. Where do we produce? What? For another 70 years. And it goes on again and on again and on again? No. Everything that I do within this physical world has to be with the recognition that this is just the very, very tip of the beginning. And the world, the true reality is the reality of Olam Haba, the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the unlimited world of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah, it's interrupting. It's a question.
it's the expression Gamza Latova when you don't really feel that. That's in the same.
Same kind of thing. Same
So
kind
one
of
should be very careful about saying that,
Yeah.
especially to people who aren't.
You have to be careful, or you have to say like this. I don't see it, but what you have to think is when you say Gamzu Latova, no, I don't see this. The one that said Gamzu Latova, there are two expressions, Hakol Latova and Gamzu Latova. Nochemish Gamzu, right? That's where this expression comes from, because he Nabach suffered. Okay, I don't want to go into. He was a quadruple amputee, and his body was full of boils, and bugs were crawling all over him, and he was living in a churva, in a hut of horrible, right? Terrible shot. And he said it was coming to me. He knew it. That's what he was saying. Gamzu Latova, Gamzu Latova, Gamzu Latova. Rabbi Akiva never said Gamzu Latova. Rabbi Akiva, when he was going, you know the story where he was he was passing through and he wanted to stay overnight, and nobody would give him a place so he went into the forest, and he had a rooster, and he had a candle, and right, and he kind of in the morning. So when he woke up, what happened? What did he see? The rooster was eaten up by a lion, and this happened, and the candle blew out, and that. So what did he say? He said, "Kol Asher Oseh Hashem is Latova." There's a difference, because when he goes back to town and he sees that there were robbers and they killed everybody in town, and had the candle been burning, they would have seen him in the forest, and had the rooster being screeching, right, and so on and so on and so forth. All I'm saying is there's a difference. When on the level of Gamzu Latova, we can't get. Yeah, that's the highest. Even Rabbi Akiva didn't say Gamzu Latova. He says Hakol Latova. Whatever Hashem does is good. Now, whatever He does is good. It's fine. Whatever. I mean, I can live with that concept. But when He says whatever Hashem does is good, that doesn't mean I feel good. I feel pretty bad when this is happening. But I know that whatever Hashem does is only good. Only good can come from Hashem. There were three things that the Chazal bring that Shlomo Melech didn't understand. One of that is Nachash Alei Tzur, which literally means the snake. The derech of the Nachash Alei Tzur, the derech of a snake on the rocks. So the Mefarshim tell us like this. It wasn't just he understood exactly how snakes work. But what he was saying is, I don't understand something. Tzur, by the way, the rock. Habitu el tzur chutzaftem. Look to the rock from which you were hewn. The makor, the source, is Tzur. Nachash, well, we're familiar with what a Nachash is. It's called the Yetzer Hara. Says Shlomo HaMelech, how did the Yetzer Hara come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu? He's all good. Derech Nachash Alei Tzur. How is it possible that the Tzur produced a Nachash? Question. And Shlomo HaMelech said, I don't understand it until he answered it. But what is the point? The point is, because there is no bad that comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Nachash is just the opportunity to do bad. And who has that opportunity? We, because we have Bechira. We make choices. So he didn't create Ra. He created the opportunity for us when what is Ra? Ra is the opposite of Hashem's will. That's all what Ra is. Anything that is not in line with Hashem's will, that's Ra. That's bad. Hashem didn't create bad, but he gave us the power and the choice, either to do good or to do bad. And why did he do that? Because when he gave us the power to do good or bad, then we have earned it. If we choose good instead of bad, then that's ours. We did that. And Rahman al-Islam, if we choose bad instead of good, we did that too. We created the Ra. So all the evil in the world, everybody says, where was God in the Holocaust? Where was God? It had nothing to do with this. That was the biggest present that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have given anyone. Yes, is this power of choice. And people choose the wrong things. You have to live your life. One has to live recognition of Olam Haba, the future, like I said. Yosef, yeah. Go on. They certainly did. They had a choice not to live or die. That's not their choice. Never is. How they die and how they live. And what was the response? In me, I'm making a choice now. I'm dying, Rahman al-Islam, okay? But there's two ways to accept the reality. This is now my reality in this world. But if I live with the world of the future, if I live with the reality that there is a future, like I was about to say, that Yosef HaTzadik, he's taught us in Mitzrayim how to live for the future. Because had they not lived for the future, had they not put away the 7 years of plenty and they ate it all up, what would they have had in the 7 years of famine? Zero. That was the beginning of the Geula. It was the beginning of how we are to relate to Geula, to recognize that there is an Olam Haba.
What time is your
12:10.
Okay.
They Olam Haba. Literally, what is this word called?
I mean, either to join or at least to come downstairs and not in pajamas.
Okay, I'll tell her.
But she does know. I did tell her.
Oh, you told you were I was gonna text her, okay.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna go now to start her.
This beautiful. Okay. How okay. What is this world called? Olam Ha. So what should that world be called? No. Olam Hahu. If this is Olam Hazeh, this world, so that world is Olam Hahu. And the Ritva says, yes, that's true. But the reason we call it Olam Haba, because it's Olam Haba me Olam Hazeh. It's the world that comes from this world. That's why I said it doesn't exist. It exists only for each and every one of us when we build our future. You know, it's like when you eat an egg. Okay, everybody, eggs. It's healthy, right? I don't know. Now even the cardiologists are saying eggs are good for you. So I mean, like my poor father's a friend of the Racha, loved eggs, right? And the doctor told him he can't eat eggs. He doesn't eat eggs. Loved salami. Can't eat salami. He never touched it. When he was 90 years old, and the doctor said, Rabbi Silver, you can eat some liver. It's okay. He couldn't. He couldn't. Because he lived with, what can I tell you? He was the kind of person he was. Rebellia, my Rebbe, right? Rebellia Lapian. So he was having terrible chest pain. They called the doctor from the Kfar. We were living in the yeshiva was in a little village. They called the doctor from the Kfar, and the doctor was a horse doctor, not a people doctor. And he told him, you have a pain, you got to move a lot, and you'll get through the pain, something like that. Anyway, one day we wake up, and there's Abelia. He's rushing to the base medrash, and you could see he wasn't feeling well, and he asked the gabbai to give him an aliyah because he felt he wasn't well. So the gabbai gave him an aliyah, and instead of standing by the Torah that you normally do after an aliyah, he sat down. So we knew something was wrong. So then they called the real doctor from Haifa. They called the doctor. Doctor said, my gosh, the man's having a heart attack. How in the world was he able to move from his house, from the place where he was staying to the base medrash? So they asked him, how'd you do it? Wasn't it painful? He says, yeah, it really hurt me, but the doctor said to move, so I moved. What I'm trying to say is that we have to know that what we are very blessed because Hashem gave us the Torah and we know exactly what is incumbent upon us. And if we have any doubt, we know that we can ask someone who is, a Talmid Chacham. The last thing I will say, two more minutes. We can connect to that world now. We don't have to wait till then. We can connect now to that. How? With tefillah. Tefillah is the only way. And there's a beautiful story about a father, Shavuos night, his 6-year-old son wanted to stay up all night and learn like the adults. And he begged and he begged and he begged. And the father felt that he was too young and he'd probably run around. He left the son at home. When he got to shul, he couldn't stop thinking about his son who wanted so badly to come. The kid really wanted to come. And he had his image of his son in the window when he said goodbye, So finally he couldn't take it anymore and he went back home. He was going to get the son. He comes in, he opens the door, the kid was all dressed and ready to go. So he said, what do you do? Well, how did you know? He says, I knew you would be coming back. Abba, I knew it because I davened and I asked Hashem, please let my father come and bring me back. Such an amazing thing when you think about it. That's Abba. So we can turn to Abba and we can say everything. And Kadosh Baruch Hu, set up the structure of how we're supposed to live with this concept of knowing that there's a future. That's the whole point, of knowing there's an Olam Haba. How do we live that way? So that Chazal say there are 3 questions when a person goes after 120 years, there are 3 questions they're going to ask them, 3 major questions. First question is, Nosato v'nosato be'emuna. Did you do business faithfully, honestly? Second is, Hakavata itim l'Torah. Did you set aside a time to learn Torah? And the third one is Hatzipisa v'Yeshua. Did you wait? Did you more than wait? Did you yearn for the Yeshua? So there are Meforshim that learn, I think it's the Gra. Nasato be'amuna. He learns not did you do business, all your negotiations were faithful. No. Nasato be'amuna means, did you engage in this in improving your amuna in Hashem? Your amuna. Did you pay attention? Did you learn? Did you think about it? Did you work on your amuna? Meaning that you know that whatever Hashem does is good, and on and on. The second, the best way to do that is to learn Torah. So that was the second question. Torah. Do you set aside a time to study Torah? And finally, Atzipisa Yeshua. Were you yearning for the Yeshua? Were you yearning for the world to come? Were you yearning for this world to demonstrate that it is only a temporary, very temporary existence that prepares us, that earns us our place in eternity, in the future? That's our goal. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should just hope and trust that Hashem will bring the Gula very quickly, and things are moving so quickly and so fast and so intricately that we too will have a share. We, all of us sitting here, will be a part. See that? I don't know if he would. I had him. I didn't know if the dogs were included, but we all of us should have a share in that reality of the truth of the existence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and in our Olam Haba.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We wish Rabbi Silver refers to later.
Yeah.
Go safely, come back safely.
Be'ez Hashem. Be'ez Hashem. I will miss you all.
Rabbi Silver.
Fargus in Tehate.
Oh, really? Oh, that I didn't know. Was it an exception? I was with him on a number of occasions and a number of seminars with him. He was a wonderful person. He was, and he was the little boy, or it was his son?
Who was it?
Shimshon Pincus. Reb Shimshon. I'm sorry, he was in. He was the lead.
Right.